Hello everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, Sajid, can hear you.
Yeah. So very good afternoon to all of you. Okay. So it's my absolute pleasure to welcome all of you to today's APIT Lab Pillar Guest Talk session. Today we are going to explore one of the most exciting and rapidly evolving fields, artificial intelligence, and its impact on higher education and research. So, in a world where generative AI is transforming the industries, redefining education, and opening new frontiers in research, it's crucial for us to understand where we are standing today, and where we are heading. And who better to guide us on this journey than one of Sri Lanka's most distinguished computer scientists and AI thought leaders, Professor Roshan Raghav. And allow me to introduce our esteemed guest speaker, Professor Roshan Raghav. Professor Roshan is a renowned AI researcher, educator, and thought leader in the fields of Internet of Things, wearable computing, bioinformatics, and machine learning. He is currently a professor in computer engineering at the University of Peradeniya, where he has been contributing to academia since 2007. His contributions to AI and computing are widely recognized with over 2,000 peer-reviewed research papers and numerous national and international awards, including the National Educator Gold Award 2024 for computing and the Best Scientist in Computer Science in Sri Lanka 2023 to 2025 by Ad Scientific Index. Beyond academia, Professor Raghav plays a pivotal role in shaping Sri Lanka's AI landscape. He is a member of the Presidential Committee to formulate the AI strategy for Sri Lanka and the founder of the AI Forum for Academics, AIFA. His leadership has been instrumental in bridging research, education, and technology policy in the country. Professor Raghav's contributions extend globally, having served as a visiting research scholar at top institutions such as University of New South Wales, Sydney, Queensland University of Technology, Brisbane, University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign, and Australian National University, Canberra. He's also the vice chair of the Asia Connect Steering Committee, where he has been working on advancing research and education networks across Asia. Today, he'll be sharing insights on the topic Reimagining Higher Education and Research in the Gen AI era. What's next? As AI rapidly transforms education, research methodologies, and the future workforce. His expertise will provide us with valuable perspectives on how we can adapt, innovate, and lead in this new era. So, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Professor Roshan Raghav. Professor Roshan, we are eager to hear your thoughts and insights on how generative AI is reshaping the landscape of higher education and research. The stage is now all yours.
Sajid, I think you have
Yeah.
to allow Professor Agil to unmute himself.
Okay. His name is. Hello.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Yes.
you. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, yes.
Yes, we
Yes,
can.
Professor Ragil,
Yes.
yes.
Thank you very much. Right, good afternoon, everyone, and let's start with a small video on AI. Is it still the case? Are you unable to hear?
Yes, Professor, we can't hear.
Oh,
Still you
yeah.
can't. Okay. There's some issue in the sharing then. Try one more time. Sorry about that. What about now?
Now we can hear. Yes.
I am a visionary. Illuminating galaxies to witness the birth of stars. And sharpening our understanding of extreme weather events. I am a helper, guiding the blind through a crowded world.
I was thinking about running to the store.
And giving voice to those who cannot speak.
Do not make me laugh.
I am a transformer, harnessing gravity to store renewable power. And paving the way towards unlimited clean energy for us all. trainer, teaching robots to assist, to watch out for danger, and help save lives. I am a healer, providing a new generation of cures and new levels of patient care.
Doctor, that I am allergic to penicillin. Is it still okay to take the medications?
Definitely. These antibiotics don't contain penicillin, so it's perfectly safe for you to take them.
I am a navigator, generating virtual scenarios to let us safely explore the real world and understand every decision. I even helped write the script. Breathe life into the words en muchos idiomas y escribí la música. I am AI, brought to life by NVIDIA.
So that's about what AI can do these days. A lot of different applications, and AI is also a very vast area. But recently, we are mostly talking about a specific subdiscipline of AI called generative AI. And here are some news article titles or news headlines related to generative AI. So generative AI becoming popular in 2022 November or so, and becoming mainstream. These news articles appeared in pop or news headlines appeared in top newspapers like New York Times. Talks about things like ChatGPT, that was the chatbot built on top of a generative AI large language model, and the death of education. So we being in the field of education, we want to explore how tools like ChatGPT and others using generative AI back end performs, and whether it is really changing the way how education is. You should take things like the death of education as the education in the present form or in the past form is dying and things are changing. So it's not actually about just a disruption. Yes, a disruption happening, but we should also see how we can use this technology for enhancing and empowering both education and research. The focus of today's discussion is on that, how we can reimagine education for both teaching, learning, and also research. What we can do with generative AI and its potential, and how we can take it forward. Thank you very much for having me and allowing me to talk to you all and spending the next 1 hour or so with me to discuss some potentials. So in fact, I'm going to spend time talking about the possible opportunities with generative AI, opportunities specifically in education and research. And I'll also highlight a few tools that are out there that can be very well used as opportunities for education and research. And obviously with these tools and technology, there are also a number of challenges, starting from the concerns we have about academic integrity, which is one of the major concerns these days, and many others. So those challenges, what we can do about those challenges, what are the considerations? And I'll finish my talk with that. So let me start with an introduction. Introduction in general, specifically starting from AI. AI is not a very new field, although it has become, in the sense of digital transformation, in the sense of computers. AI, the idea of a machine or computer can come and become intelligent, was thought in 1940s when Alan Turing and his team developed a program to break the Enigma code during World War II. So that's when Alan Turing, who was then a mathematician, worked on what is known as the Turing test, which basically defined how a machine can, or how we can consider a machine becoming intelligent. Since then, a lot has happened. In fact, the current machines, as per Alan Turing's Turing test, would already pass the Turing test and become intelligent. But since then, we have also moved our bar and have tried a lot of different things, and we are here now with generative AI. Generative AI became really popular, although it was in research for about now almost like 7, 8, 10 years, became popular with the chatbot we built, or OpenAI built first, or made it mainstream in 2022, about 3 years ago. But chatbots are not new to us. We have been building chatbots since 1940s. The very first chatbot was called Elisa, was built in 1960s. The very first one was built in 1964. And then the most popular one was attributed to this Alice, which was in 1990s. From there, in 1997, for instance, we realized that machines on specific tasks can do actually better than humans. So Deep Blue from IBM won the chess championship, beating the then chess grandmaster. And many things have happened since then. And the IBM Watson, another AI machine, was able to even beat the Jeopardy game, the one that is considered the more difficult. Something that took all of us to surprise is when a company called AlphaGo developed a machine learning model to beat the Go game master, or the Chinese Go game master actually it's recently, 2017. So 2017, the Chinese Go game, which is again a board game like chess, but with lot more combinations. Actually, it's with about combinations of 10 to the power 170. Such many combinations. Such a game, a computer software or AI was able to beat the then Go master. You can see what the Go master has to say. Last year, it was still quite human-like when it played, Mr. Key said after the game. But this year, it became like a god of Go. So this machine learning algorithm was able to learn. And since then, AlphaGo has shown that it can learn new games. It can, at that time, they were training it to play Go, but then we realized it can learn new games very fast by just looking at the moves, not by knowing the rules, how we would normally do. Since then, we can see since 2017, the amount of AI applications in business has increased. So this is a survey done in 2024. As per the survey, if you take 100 companies, out of the 100, 50 companies, or half of them, are using AI functions in at least one of their business operations. So this is the number since the deep learning becoming popular 2027, 2028, until 2023, when generative AI took stage. So with generative AI, the numbers are suddenly increasing, as you can see. In fact, the numbers have gone about 80 now. So this is like second quarter or first quarter last year. So the numbers are increasing, and we are going to see every field or every business, including education, is going to use AI as in its business functions. So it's time for us to look at how this is going to be useful and how this is going to help us change the way how we do education and research. If you take AI, it's a larger field with a lot of sub-disciplines. I mentioned about machine learning, and AlphaGo type game was developed, or the system was developed using deep learning, which is part of machine learning. Generative AI is a sub-discipline under machine learning and also deep learning. These are all made possible with machine learning and deep learning and whatnot, with big data. A lot of data coming into the picture, not just the data, but also the machines. The machines that can manipulate and deal with such amount of data. And the video I showed you at the beginning is coming from a company called NVIDIA, who is building most of these machines, although there are now many more competitors. So let's go more into generative AI. As you all would already know, generative AI is to take prompts and produce outputs. The output would be just text, or it could be video, audio, images, even programs, computer programs. Some of them are good and some of them are still not as good as what we would expect or what we expect from human. So here is just to compare how this AI, not specifically generative AI, but AI in general, is performing compared to human performance. So if you take a special topic like reading comprehension, machines now can actually do better in reading comprehension, basically reading and answering questions based on what it read. Machines can actually do better than people, although we started building such systems recently. There are many others, understanding language, even code generation. Nowadays, the machines are doing as good as us. These numbers are a bit outdated. Or other fields like maths, it can do really well. It's coming to do well. So these are places where the machines are specifically doing well in specific areas. And we are also in the lookout for whether machines can do better than human for everything that is possible, right? So in fact, the understanding the AI researchers and AI scientists have is that we should not actually compare machine performance against human performance. It is like comparing, if you take some other examples, like whether we can compare something like a car against a horse, for instance, right? So because they both are used for transport, and can we compare them the same way? No, they are different. And things like car is built for a specific purpose, but comparing it against what it was earlier, like the transportation earlier, is not the right way to do it. So similar way, now the AI research is also in a direction where some applications, some situations, AI systems can do better even than human, and there's no way or no reason for us to compare in those aspects. And there are aspects where obviously human can do much better, and it's not possible for AI systems to even go closer to such things. So it's more of how AI systems can complement what we do as human, even in education. So that's the premise from with which I'm going to start. We are going to see how AI systems can do better in certain places and how we can make use of it as educators, researchers, to advance and do things better and by producing better outcomes. That's what we are going to discuss. So let me go into the next topic, which is the possible opportunities with generative AI, both in education and research. In fact, in the turn of the last century, in education, we came up with this framework called the 21st century learner. In the framework, we had some digital literacy as one of the skills that the 21st century learner is supposed to have. But we didn't think at that time about something like artificial intelligence specifically coming in and disrupting and transforming education. But now with AI and particularly things like generative AI literacy is now part of the 21st century learner skills. So here, AI literacy, what do we mean? Understand basics of AI and its applications. So understanding AI and its applications, and assessing or critically assessing how AI systems can change or can impact society. So as educators, we have the big role in here playing understanding how AI systems can change the society or can impact society. Well, first one is to understand the AI and its application, how its societal impact, and the third one is ethical implications. What happens when you start using AI in a lot of different places? These systems are just machines and algorithms and data, and they don't have any idea about things like ethics. We are human and ethics and human values. So how we incorporate this into any education system is part of the discussion. In fact, agencies like UNESCO has understood this and have written guidelines. These guidelines came up in 2023 on how any education system or any school system, for that matter, should include, in addition to the education basic pillars, things like reading, writing, and arithmetic, should include empathy, creativity, and critical thinking as part of the skills or core skills, for that matter, or pillars. So human skills and human attributes has to be paid more attention to when machines or AI systems can come and help us with the basic pillars. As you can see, the basic pillars: reading comprehension, I mentioned about it, writing is generation, arithmetic, even AI now can do high-level arithmetic, high-level maths. So arithmetic is something simple. So in situations like this, we as humans should also focus on other aspects and make sure we are valued and we are in par with what is expected, which is the human intent of any activity we do. So how AI, in fact, can help in education? One of the aspects AI can help in education is personalized learning or personalized education. In fact, there was a problem which was nagging us for a long time, which is known as the 2 sigma problem, which was introduced or identified by Benjamin Bloom, one of the very famous educators in the 80s. He introduced what is known as the 2 sigma problem. The problem goes as, if you take a regular conventional class, and this axis, by the way, this graph, I just took it from his paper from 1984, and it's without all labels. So here the number of students in a class, here their performance, grades, let's assume, or marks. So in a conventional class, the distribution of marks goes like this. The highest marks being, let's say, about 100, depends on our generosity, and on the lowest marks, let's say about 30 or 40. And the average mark somewhere 70 is the highest number of students who are getting. So what he has shown through an experiment, through an empirical study, is that when you do a one-to-one class, a class with one teacher per student, we can improve the performance. He calls it tutorial, like this. Like this meaning, the number has increased from here to here, and the deviation is 2 sigma or 2 standard deviation. So 2 sigma is coming from there. In terms of numbers, what it means is, if you can do personalized education, if you can give personal attention to learners one-to-one, you can improve their performance by a lot. In terms of numbers, if you take 100 students, and in a regular class, out of the 100, if 20 students are getting A's, now in a personalized setting, we will have 90. Instead of 20, 90 students will be getting A's. That is what it basically means. And also it means every student in the personalized setup will have grades better than the average grade in a normal regular class. They are only like a 2-3% less. Almost everyone will get better than average grades, and almost about 90% will get A grades. So that's a really good situation, but it was in 1980s formed as a problem because it's not possible. It's not possible to give personal attention. But now it's becoming possible. So here is a study which was published just last month, actually this month, early this month, on a very popular journal. And the study is about higher education students' perspectives of ChatGPT. Perceptions actually. So they have done a study with about 20,000 students, And the students, one of the questions they are asking is where you use tools like ChatGPT, and you can see the answers. So answers are on academic writing, professional writing, creative writing, brainstorming, summarizing. So the places where they have higher number, 29% is, and also different fields you can see. 29% is coming from brainstorming, 27 coming from summarizing, research assistance, coding assistance is the next number, although it's hidden there. So these numbers show that the students perceive that these tools can help them in learning. Things like learning together, brainstorming, summarizing things so that they can learn faster, and then they can go into details by looking at it, the later aspects. Not just in learning, but also in research, finding information for research papers. That's considered one of the highest by the students. So we will see examples of what tools that are out there to do this. This is coming from the PLOS ONE journal, one of the top journals in the computing field. So I was talking about personalized education and student perspective. So here there are many tools now out there that can help personalized education from students' perspective. Here is one from Khan Academy known as Khan Migo. I'm sure you all would have heard about this tool, and it's a chatbot that actually can work as more of a tutor, not as someone who can just cheat or who can help cheat for the students. So you can see the questions the students are asking and how the chatbot goes. Can you just tell me the answer? The student asks. Chatbot says it's important that you learn how to do this yourself. And then it asks some questions. It goes into something known as this Socrative dialogue, where the tutor or the teacher or the educator doesn't just give answers to learners, but make the learner to think and explore and get to the answer. So it's possible for us to build chatbots like this using generative AI that can help students learn, not just find answers to questions and violate academic integrity for that matter. Not just students, but also teachers. There are these similar tools. In fact, like the Khan Migo had a teacher version. In fact, if the teacher version, if you ask the tool is going to just give answers. But also at the same time, we can use the teacher version to do other things like coming up with a lesson plan for a class and so on, or even collecting feedback from students. All that are possible. The good part about all of this is this sort of support is available 24/7, not possible, humanly possible by a teacher and also students. So that which in fact help learner to learn at their pace and also at their own time whenever they prefer to learn, not limited to the regular class hours or not limited to just the hours the teachers allocate for students. Not just that, here is another study, a McKinsey study on global teacher. And in fact, the part I'm showing here is actually the teacher part. So the teachers, usually these numbers are coming from the US, teachers spend about 50 hours a week on education. And the sad part is, on their work, and sad part is only about 49. About half of the time they spend on direct student engagement. These are activities of direct student engagement. There are things teachers spend on other things, preparation, administration work, evaluation, feedback, and so on. So this, if you use AI tools and technology, it's possible. It is shown that it's possible by breaking these each topic, the ones that are listed here. It's possible to reduce the time the teachers spend by using these tools. It's shown that it's possible to do it by about 20 to 30%. Meaning the teachers can spend more time, about 20 to 30% more time on with the students, or they can take some break if 50 hours per week is too much for the teachers. So it's possible to increase this time and reduce this time, because these are the places where technology, tools like AI can come and help, come and help in administration, can definitely come and help in preparation and other as well. You can see preparation time, it's reducing by half by using technology. So these are times that are reallocatable and used for student engagement more. More things on these technologies and how it will be useful in education. So as you all know, there is a concept called universal design for learning, meaning we understand the learners don't all learn the same way. They learn different ways. So therefore, it's the educator's responsibility to cater to different students by providing learning in different styles, different learning styles, different learning ways. Some might listen and learn, some might watch and learn, some might do and learn, and so on. So these are possible with universal design for learning, or UDL in short. So the challenge again is similar to the challenge we had with the 2 sigma problem, personalized. It's the same challenge. We don't have teachers, we don't have time to cater to different type of learners because we don't have enough resources. However, with technology, it's possible. It has become so easy to take a set of textbook and give it to a tool and make a conversation or a video or a slide deck. All that has become or a podcast. All of this have become very possible now with technology and AI. So they are going to help better. More, it's also possible for us to improve productivity as teachers or educators so that the learners can use the time, the teachers can use the time to help learners. So on average, the numbers are about 150. Productivity is improving on various aspects. I'll not go into details in the interest of time. So it's possible to use these tools both by learners and teachers for writing assistance, administrative assistance, and also to make sure the accessibility and inclusion is considered, because like different forms and like I mentioned earlier are possible now. Although there are some artists complaining that these tools are coming and destroying or coming and competing against them for creativity, I would argue otherwise, because now the creativity is becoming more democratized. For instance, I can imagine something, or even though I might not be able to draw, I can, with my imagination, I can use some tools to get some drawing done. My imagination, giving the drawing output from these tools. So not just that, even coming up with ideas, brainstorming, all we mentioned earlier are possible. So those are the aspects, the potentials and possibilities on the education side. Let me spend some time on research because we wanted to focus on both education and research here. On research, we can take a complete research process as a research cycle, and here's the research life cycle, and there are 4 major aspects I'm looking at. One, coming up with research ideas or conception and execution. So you come up with a proposal, you do literature review, you do all that, figure out what's the gap, and you execute, you do the research. So that's A. And then the next quadrant is dissemination, which is about publishing the research, presenting it in some forum, preparing a news article about it, all sort of different things, dissemination. Then from there, when the papers and the publications of the patents are done, then the next step is to translate, take from research to commercialization, where you also make monetary benefits so that you can use that funds to put back to the research. So the next one is research funding and compliance. For these 4 processes, it's possible for us to use AI and specifically generative AI tools to do better. And in the interest of time, I'll only take some examples from A and B. I'll not go into C and D. But you can imagine it's possible for every other place. So research and development, which is in the first part, it's possible to use generative AI tools. So these are a number of tools coming from specifically targeting generative AI and research focused. We can use tools for doing the things like brainstorming, Copilot, ChatGPT, now DeepSeek, ResearchGeek, all these can be used. But specifically for research, you also can use tools like connected papers, Elicit, and so on. I'll give more examples as I go and situations. But these are possible. It can improve workflows and the research process, making this faster. Research usually takes about 3 months to do a thorough literature review in a first go. And obviously, research literature review we have to keep updating if you're doing, let's say, a longer term research or a postgraduate qualification. But now these things are possible with these tools, and the time that's going to take or taking is reducing. Or the work we can do or the outcome that we can produce with 3 months is much better with these tools coming and helping. Not just research and development, but within the research, if you want to do some code generation, for example, those who have used or are using LaTeX like markup language for producing equations like this would sympathize that it's very difficult for us to learn this markup language to write something like this. But nowadays, we don't have to worry. We can just write the equation. In fact, this was generated using ChatGPT by just taking the equation, take a photo, ask it to generate the markup language, and it generates it and put it to a online tool like Overleaf, and it gives you the equation. So it's these sort of things have become like we should be able to do it by just writing the equation and doing this in like very little time compared to learning and using a markup language to produce equations like this. Even if you are producing equations using any other tool, all takes time, but this is much faster. So these are just examples. There are a lot more you can think of. Translating programs, code from one language to another, and many more. Lot more in data. Nowadays, any research, even things like generative AI is in place because of data. So data-driven insights is something that very much useful in any research. We can use tools, generative AI tools specifically, to do any one of these data-related activities, starting from cleaning the data, descriptive statistics of the data, predictive modeling of the data, correlation analysis, and most interestingly, visualization. It's possible to do all this using tools. I will look and highlight a few tools in this area. Although I have mentioned a few tools here and their names, I'll go into little more details. First one, generic tools like ChatGPT can be used for teaching and learning. And particularly if you look at the website, this website I have put here is coming from OpenAI. OpenAI is talking about how their tools like ChatGPT can be used for teaching. They are taking examples like role playing, how you can do role play, how you can reduce the friction in non-English native speakers, and how we can make students to think critically using AI tools. So these are examples given from OpenAI for ChatGPT, but the same generic tools. These are generic chatbots, Copilot, DeepSeek, or whatnot. We can apply the same idea. So that's one place where these tools can be useful. More, I mentioned about Khanmigo earlier. So Khanmigo is something that we can use. Another one is called Unstuck, which is a tool which can take PDF, PPT, PowerPoint, YouTube videos, and can generate summaries, and also use it for asking questions, answering questions. It can produce its own questions and so on. So these are possible with Unstuck, and generative AI based, where you can use your own content, or the students can use their own content. More tools, I mentioned about making podcast. I'm sure you're familiar with this from Google, known as Notebook LM, which can in fact take documents and generate summaries, and generate a place or make a place where we can type and ask questions from the document. It also can make something very interesting, what is known as a podcast, conversation about the document that we uploaded, so that it becomes easier for learners to learn. So that's Notebook LM, another one. And there are plugins coming in, so learning management systems like Moodle. You can go and look at Moodle's news on potential of AI and Moodle. There are tools like AI Connector, AI Text-to-Question Generator, OpenAI Chat Block, AI Text-to-Image, things like this. You can use it for making quizzes. And others can be used for integrating into the learning environment. So these are possible with Moodle now, and they are becoming very popular with time. More tools on this is coming from Course Networking, another online cloud-based learning management system, plus e-portfolio system known as Course Networking. They have a number of AI integration done with their AI called Rumi. What it can do, it can generate AI questions, it can generate automatically reflections to post, summarizing of post, these things it can do with Post Network, another platform. More, this is not specifically tools per se, but a free online course which was developed with AI, ChatGPT, and then the Common Sense Foundation. So what they have done, so they have developed a training course for K-12 educators. So we can use this training course to learn how we can use AI. It's a free online course actually. How we can use AI for education. This is specifically targeted towards K-12. High school that is, but it can also be used in other situations. I mentioned about data. So analyzing data, again, there are a number of generative AI based tools. Here are a couple of them I'm listing down. They both have free access to certain extent. Power Drill is very popular. It can be used for all these different situations, trend forecasting, data visualization, data report generation, cleaning data, I mentioned about this, even preparing presentations with the data. That's Power Drill. Another one called Julius, it has more, like it can also find things like insights, it can do advanced analysis, problem solving, and so on. Again, it has some free version, free part of it. As you can see, these tools are used by a large number of people, 2 million here, 1.2 million there. So those are some tools and more on what other tools we can use. So those, the ones I listed earlier are mostly on education and on research, the tools we can use. I'm just listing down a lot of tools and giving pointers, but it might take a while for anyone to sit down and spend some time figuring out what these tools are. But it's worth the try, because we are going to improve our outcome and also we are going to reduce or make our productivity higher. So here is again some tools, a specific example on literature review in research. So for doing literature review, I have divided the tools into two parts. One for brainstorming and refining the research question, more like coming up with a research question. And second part is conducting preliminary literature review. So basically looking for papers. Usually we would do the first one with a few colleagues, maybe with your supervisors or research supervisors or research colleagues. The second one we'll normally do with repositories. Early days when I started research, we used to do them by going to the library, but not anymore. We do them with Google Scholar and other IEEE Explorer, ACM archives, or PubMed, or any other archives. That is what we normally do the second part with earlier. First one we usually talk and do. Now both of these, it's possible to use specific tools. Brainstorming, obviously we can use any one of these tools for brainstorming. We can give ideas, reflect on them, get some ideas back and see whether they make sense, whether there are existing similar work, all sort of things we can think of. I'm coming up with these nice titles, comprehensive titles and so on. The second one is more on the literature review itself. I call it preliminary literature review because people have to get involved in both of these activities, and we have to be the driving force deciding what to do. I'll start with some of these. So the first one is the brainstorming. So I'll not go into more detail, but I'll show some tools here and how they work. One of the very popular tool is called Elicit, that can help us find papers on a particular research question. So this tool, there's not much prompt engineering required. What is required is just a keyword or a phrase. You put that there. I have put something like role of Gen AI in education. And what this tool can do, the free version of the tool can list down a summary of 4 research papers and their summary. And the paid version, you can increase the number here. I'm just using the free version here. And not just the summary, but Elicit can also give us a summary table with multiple columns. Depends on what you want. Here the columns are paper, abstract, summary, but we can add more columns on the results, the conclusion, the summary of the conclusion, different other aspects. So it's very useful in terms of quickly finding papers and finding the connection between those papers. Talking about connection between the papers, one other tool that's very popular is called connected papers. What it can do, it takes papers, find papers from all these archives and make them into a graph. What you have to give here is a paper or a title of the paper or the DOI of a paper, the identifier of the paper. When you give it, it lists down, it makes a graph like this, and it lists down all the papers that are in this graph. This graph basically means the papers that are connected to the paper I gave, and also the size of the graph has different meaning. For instance, the larger the graph, the more number of citation, the closer the graph to the next, closer a node to the next node, the more connection. And the lighting, the color shade is for the years when they are published. The good part about it is I can just click one of these papers and I can get the summary of the details of the paper here. If the paper is available public, I also can download the PDF. So this is connected papers, and the free version has only a limited amount of graph that you can generate, and the paid version has more. More tools. Size space is another tool. It can do little more. It can do like we can upload papers here. If you have a paper that is not on the web, but you found the paper from some other place. If the paper is not in the PDF form on the web, then you got the paper from some other form or through somebody else or some other form. And then you can just upload the paper and ask questions. Not just ask questions, you also can ask it to paraphrase, summarize, and more. Like you can ask it to, you can see, explain a text and get other related papers. All these are possible with SciSpace. At the website you have to go to is typeset.io. It can do all that. And it can also make, for these uploaded papers and the connected papers, it can also make more columns. All these columns like the method used in a paper, the literature review of survey of the paper, the limitations of the paper, all these can be included here. And the paid version has more. You can download the Excel file when you populate and prepare this. So it's pretty very useful and going to make literature review much faster and more productive and better out quickly. So it also has more features like taking a text, and if you are familiar with a tool like Quillbot, it does something similar to Quillbot, but claimed to be better because it's only focusing on research articles. And so those are the things that we can do, a number of tools and their benefits. Yes, we talked about the opportunities and the tools, and let's look at some challenges that we face with this technology and its implications. Yes, obviously one of the challenge we have in all these aspects is the academic fairness. These tools are as I also was mentioning, some of these tools or most of these tools have paid versions, and the free versions are not, they are limited. Even if you want to access the free version, you need devices, you need internet. So those are problems. So those are unequal access, particularly in a country like ours, is a challenge. In addition, our learners, they are digital literacy, they are not the same. That is another challenge. And when you want to use these tools, what happens to the learner? Are they going to be still creative? Are they going to be still similar researchers? Those are things that we have to converse and figure out how we proceed. However, those are all coming under challenges. More challenge is when you use these tools, it's also usual that we rely on these tools more than what these tools are. So we have to be careful about it. Things like these tools, they lack logical reasoning. They might have misinformation. The information they have might be outdated because these models are trained not every day. Model training costs a lot of money. OpenAI claims their model training, full model training, costs them about $100 million. So it's not possible for them to train this model every day, and therefore the data that the models have are outdated usually. And biasness is another problem. Biasness depends on the amount of data that is coming from different parties, different stakeholders, and different countries, different economies. So those are also problems. So by doing this, our learners will also lose their certain skills is also a concern. So relying on this tool more than what they can do is also a challenge. Misinformation I already mentioned, bias and outdated information I mentioned. Logical reasoning is a problem. So there are ways in which we can overcome some of these, but these are all challenges. I'll discuss how we can overcome them briefly a little later. One of the challenge is the privacy. Most of these tools, if we are using their free version, it also means we are selling our data. The data we put, the questions we put are going to be stored and might be used in the future by these tools. And therefore, we have to be careful. That's also a problem. And there are a number of court cases against it. And plagiarism is another challenge. Whether the learners will use these tools or they will use these tools for learning, or will they use it for academic or to violate or to go against academic integrity. Those are challenges. So things like the plagiarism, but the researchers on AI has figured out or are proposing is to have alternative methods. Even educators are proposing to have alternative methods in which the assessments are done, such as using oral examinations or process-focused evaluations. Evaluate not the outcome, but evaluate the process. Or unique perspective, individual perspective of each learner. Can we get them evaluated? In fact, the AI assessment scale, which was proposed in 2023 and it's published in 2024 later, is talking about how AI, how assessment can be done in the context of AI. Starting from, but how to do assessment if you consider there's no AI use at all, how to do assessment when there is full AI use. So their publication details with use cases, how this can be done. So those are some of the challenges and a little on how these are overcome. And I'll take a few more consideration regarding the challenges we were talking about. So any one of these challenges, what we have to be very clear about is to understand our objective. If you're talking about learning, if you're talking about a specific learning, if you're talking about a specific research, or literature review for that matter, we should understand what we are trying to do in that aspect. For instance, if the researchers are new and if the researchers are trying to learn how to do a literature review, we should make sure the researchers or those who are getting trained, the young researchers, go through this process and understand it. The tools can come in as help under the supervision of someone else and someone who is a seasoned researcher. And in any situation, it must be the case where the user should understand the duty of verification, meaning everything that these tools generate are the responsibility of the one who generated them, and therefore the responsibility is with them to make sure they verify anything that these tools produce before they put them out. So that has to become or inculcated as part of the learning process. That is something that is so important, and more is using the right tools, knowing how to use these tools. So things like the ChatGPT like type chatbots rely a lot on prompts, and therefore we have to make sure everyone who is using these tools learn how these prompts work, how the prompt engineering works, what it means. So prompt engineering is a field where we are acknowledging the natural language communication skills we developed to deal with people is not good enough to deal with tools. Yes, the tools now understand natural language, understand within code. So therefore, we should not take it for granted the way how we communicate with people. We cannot do the same way with these tools, although the tools use natural language. So what are the do's? What are the don'ts? How are we going to use these prompts? How can we give examples into the generative AI tool so that they can give proper response? So these are things we have to learn. We have to educate our learners to do. And also making sure these tools get proper instruction on what is expected, what styles are expected, what are not expected. For instance, as human, when we talk in different situations, we talk we adapt and change by understanding the environment, by understanding the society. We will not talk the same way at home and at work. We will not talk the same way to a relative versus to a colleague. So these are things that are inherent at the societal understanding of human. These tools, by nature, they don't have those. So it's our responsibility to include them in some way or the other in the prompts so that the prompts can work and produce better results and the expected results, obviously. So these are things we have to make sure we educate our learners and also anyone else who is using these tools. I mentioned about verification. There is this thing called human in the loop, meaning every response we are getting from these tools and using should be verified by human. And the danger is if the human is a learner, the learner might not have enough understanding to verify. Therefore, an educator, a teacher has to be in the loop to do that. Also, we had to make sure about the data privacy. We had to make sure we safeguard the confidentiality and the data privacy. So how do we do it? Is by avoiding sharing sensitive information, give generic examples, anonymize information. Also check the platform, what sort of security confidentiality agreements they have. Make sure we read the terms and references. In research, now it's possible for us to cite generative AI tools as something that we used. Almost all the larger publishers are accepting generative AI tool outcomes. Only thing is they are asking the authors to list down the tools they used, the citations, and how they use the tool. Things like the prompts and the responses as appendix. These are what the big publishers are asking. Therefore, research use of generative AI tools is becoming very popular, very acceptable as long as we follow the procedure and show what we have been using the tools for. So these tools have challenges, but it's possible for us to use them to scale and to make equitable and sustainable education, particularly in the form of what we discussed earlier. There are a lot of things that human alone will not be able to do, but with these tools, it's possible for us to be 24/7 available. Make sure they are personalized, personally helped. We follow UDL, Universal Learning, the design for learning. And we do research using these tools to make things faster, but at the same time, we keep ourselves in the loop so that these things will not become a challenge or a problem or our responsibility. So just to give you some final thoughts and videos, here is another video from actually ChatGPT and Khan Academy, a video on how these tools can come in and help as a personal tutor, not just in text, but also in audio and video.
Hi, my name is Sal Khan. I'm the founder of Khan Academy, and I'm also the author of a new book about artificial intelligence in education called Brave New Words. And OpenAI invited myself and my son Imran here to try out some of their new technology. And so we're curious about how good it might be at tutoring someone in math on Khan Academy. So let's get it started. It's loading up. All right, make sure it can see our screen.
Actually, in this format,
hello there. I'm here with my son, and I'd love you to tutor him on this math problem, but don't give him the answer. You can ask questions and nudge him in the right direction, but I really want to make sure he understands it himself. And he's here in the room, so you can talk to him directly.
Of course, I'd be happy to help. Let's look at the problem together. Can you first identify which sides of the triangle are the opposite, adjacent, and hypotenuse relative to angle alpha?
All right, so I'm pretty sure this is the angle alpha right here, right?
Perfect. That's correct. Now, looking at the triangle, which side do you think is the hypotenuse?
Really,
Remember the hypotenuse?
I'm not totally sure. I think it might be this one, but I really am not sure. This side AC.
You're close. Actually, side AC is called the adjacent side to the angle alpha. be high.
So in the interest of time, I'll not go through the whole video, but the point is a tool like ChatGPT, a generic chatbot, by just nudging it, saying what to do. Like, okay, there is this situation where there's a learner, don't give answers, but ask questions. That is all what Sal Khan, so the founder of Khan Academy, had told there. And then you can see how the conversation goes. So it's possible to make these tools to make a proper tutor, obviously under the observation or with some proper instructions given. These are things that are becoming more and more possible now. And even in research, it's possible to use these tools for doing a lot more.
In the future, the way we see health will look a little different from this. Because you are completely unique. And your health journey should be unique too. What if someday you could have personalized health insights that honor your strength, your resilience, your family, your needs as they evolve every day? Over the course of your whole life. In the future, your health journey should reflect everything that you are and help you make the right choices for your body. Because you contain multitudes.
So that actually that video is more on health, but personalized health, that is. So personalized everything, personalized education, health and whatnot are on its way. And it's going to change the way how we approached all this in the past, including education and research. So with that, let me take a few moments to conclude, and then I'll let you ask a couple of questions if you have. So in fact, by 2030, this is a study from World Economic Forum, their Future of Job Survey. By 2030, it is expected that we will lose about 100 million, in fact 92 million jobs, while we'll generate double the number of jobs, 170 million jobs. The only challenge is who are going to lose these jobs and who are going to get these jobs. Can we make sure as educators, we train people to those who are going to lose these jobs, move on to the group who gain these jobs? And as you can see, there's a larger population who will still have stable jobs by 2030. And their jobs are not going to be like you and me are not going to lose jobs. But there are people who will lose and will gain. So as educators, it's our responsibility to make sure that it's done. How do we make sure? Understanding the core skills that are required. So this is again from the same study. The core skills required by 2025 are listed down from 1 to 26. The first set is things that even UNESCO identified in 2023. Analytical skill, resilience, flexibility and agility, leaderships and social influence, creative thinking, motivation and awareness, technological literacy, empathy and active listening, curiosity and lifelong learning, talent management, service orientation and customer service. These are things that are considered core skills, the top 10. And we can make sure our learners and our programs align with these skills so that they are relevant, they have stable jobs. Or if they are in an area where they are going to lose jobs, they will use these skills to gain new jobs. That's something that we had to do. So we have been talking about a lot of different tools, and here is a snapshot of most of the tools that I discussed, not everything. So I'll conclude with a quote from Fei-Fei Li, one of the popular American computer scientists. What she said, it was some times back, is that AI won't really replace humans, but humans who are going to use AI are going to replace those who don't use AI. That's what's going to happen to this job replacement as well. So therefore, let us embrace and also embrace and see how we can use this AI technology and develop our skills and our learners so that we will have a better future. Thank you very much again for having me and listening to me patiently for the last 1 hour plus. And I'm happy to take a couple of questions.
Hello. Thank you, Professor Agil, for that enlightening session. And now we open the floor for questions. So please use directly your mic, or you can even type. Ask any questions. So in the meantime, as anybody others are maybe coming up with questions, I would like to ask like a question myself. So in a Sri Lankan context, like Professor Agil, like given this rapid rise of Gen AI, how do you think the Sri Lankan universities should strike the right balance between leveraging AI tools for education and ensuring students still develop essential critical thinking skills and problem solving skills?
So in fact, that's actually a very good question and very relevant to our topic, our profession and all that. So in fact, what we are seeing is how we can, so okay, let's take a step back. So one, there are multiple approaches. Some might see what we are thinking is, okay, let us make the learner students not use these tools so that they will still be able to learn the way how they have been learning, and they can be as good as they were earlier. The problem with such an approach is that the students are going to anyway, even if you allow or not, are going to use these tools. And the challenge is they might be using them in a way that is not appropriate, detrimental to them, and so on. So what we are trying, even the AI for Academic Forum, where we started at Peradeniya, but now there are members from other universities as well. Now that we are talking about it, I can just put a link to the website. So for academics, anyone who is academic in this meeting can also join. Let me find that. So in the forum also, what we are actually discussing, and also we used to have like monthly meeting and so on. What we are discussing is how we can make the learners use these tools and technology while developing their skills. So it is not easy, but it has to be done under supervision, like under our supervision, meaning we have to tell them, okay, these are the things that you can do, this is how you do it, and so on, without leaving it open. So nowadays, that is what we are doing. So I'm just sharing WhatsApp link for the forum, a group, basically a WhatsApp group, basically, and we announce about the activities we do there. Yeah. So anyone interested, you can just click the link and join. Yeah, so that is what we are discussing there in the forum. The idea, it's like trying use cases. For example, the last year, I my department, our final year students, we allowed them to use AI tools for their research project. The final year that they have already completed, we allow them to use the AI tools for research project. So what we did was, very first, we went and told them, okay, so these are the tools like a presentation I did now, but it's a longer one, specifically focusing on their research, different aspects of research, where they can use the tool, how they can use the tool. We did sessions like that. Then we allowed them in their during their progress, step by step, ask them how they are doing it, how they use these tools, give us evidence. They had to submit a report every stage showing how they are using the tool, what are the prompts they use, which are the tools they used, what's the input they gave, what's the output we got. It's more of a process-based setup. So we allowed such things, and at the end we did an evaluation. In fact, we see that even we published a paper about it as well. So we see that the outcome with such an approach is better, and the evaluation we did with the students also is good. And at the same time, why I'm talking about the forum is, in the forum we go and present this, we go and discuss, okay, this is what the use case, an example, how we did it and whether it's successful. And there are examples where people come and discuss about the challenges they face, okay, this is not working, what do we do? Although there are platforms like Turnitin AI Detector, there are still ways of overcoming short circuiting or cheating those platforms, and therefore we should look at a holistic approach. That is what the forum is about. And also as a nation, I think that is what, starting from education, we should see how we can educate the population to use these tools effectively while understanding their responsibility and the overall understanding of what education is, what it makes, how education and research is, for that matter, researcher, and what it makes to be an educated person or a researcher. So those are more challenging, but that is what we are doing. I hope I gave some sensible answer.
Yeah, thank you very much, Professor Roshana, for your insights. I think they shed a light for like how do we go about, how should we go about addressing these issues, because I think this is becoming a hot topic now, how to assess, how to come up with revamping or these assessment methods with the help of these tools available now. So so I think so if anybody else is I think if you have any questions, please use this occasion to ask questions. You can type your questions as well. So I'll wait for probably another couple of minutes and
You're good.
Just one question. When you do allow students to use AI tools, when it comes to research, and let's say even a programming challenge, there is a slight gray area on how much or what you should assess them on. When you say, yes, you assess them on the process and the output and all of it, how much involvement of an academic is actually there in that process? Because does this mean that you need, let's say you have a class of 40 or 50 students, how much time would it take for you to closely follow their process? And how does that actually work? If you have used it in university, it would be really great for us to learn from that.
Yeah, that's again a very good question. In fact, when I say we are following closely, what we mean is we are asking them to report. So the reporting is what we are assessing. Like the usual reporting is they'll be only reporting what they have, like their outcome. But here we are also asking, in addition to the outcome, to also report how they have used the tools. Which is, in fact, like it's not a novel idea per se. That is the exact same thing even publishers are asking. If you go and look at what Springer is asking, some of their journal publication, they're asking, okay, if you're using AI, show us the prompts and the responses as appendix. So something similar is what we ask. So if they are coming up with a research proposal, we tell them, okay, give us a research proposal. Give us also a report on how you used AI tools in preparing the report. So that is the additional thing, the document that we are asking. And then obviously, even if we are asking them like a proposal, we usually have a viva anyway. So the viva or the presentation where they come and present and we ask questions, we clarify those things we still do. They are the same. So the additional work for both students and teachers is to check this additional document that they are producing or the presentation where they will be presenting this additional part. So we are justifying that one from the student perspective because they are going to anyway do things faster, so they have time to do this, and also they should learn how to use these tools, obviously. So which is a requirement. So as per our understanding, so therefore we are doing that from a teacher's perspective is what you asked. From a teacher's perspective, yes, they are going to spend more time, but obviously the teachers now can reduce the amount of time in other aspects, like things like coming up with a template for a project or coming up with those things. Again, they can also use AI tools. We are doing such sessions as well. So the teachers can spend or reduce or compensate for their additional time spent on these activities on other aspects like preparing the template for a report or even certain aspects, even things like marking. We are looking at tools like not specifically for this specific research angle, but in other places, we are also integrating tools for marking. Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay. Think with that, we are sort of coming to the end of today's session, and so I would like to thank for this incredibly insightful session. To take this moment to express our deepest gratitude to our esteemed guest, Professor Roshan. And your presentation today on this highly important topic, reimagining higher education and research in the Gen AI era, I think it has been a truly eye-opening session for all of us and given us a wealth of knowledge on how AI tools are revolutionizing education and research. We talked about different tools in education, research, and challenges in terms of plagiarism, assessment. So all are of a highly practical value. And I think your insight into the role of generative AI in ethical consideration and skills we must develop to stay relevant in the AI-driven world has left us with a lot to reflect on. So on behalf of APIT, our faculty, students, and all attendees today, we extend our heartfelt thanks to you, Professor Roshan. We hope to continue this collaboration and have you with us again for future discussions and engagements in AI and education. So finally, I would like to thank all the participants for joining us today, engaging in the discussion and making this session meaningful. We look forward to seeing you in our future guest lectures and AI-focused initiatives as well. With that, I would like to officially conclude today's session, and I want to wish everyone a great day. And let's keep the boundaries, pushing boundaries for innovation and learning. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much.